Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad you decided to tune in. Hey, we're going to have a good show for you today. We're going to talk about a very disappointing loss last night for the Dodgers. The Dodgers had a chance to really take a stranglehold on this series. They had a lead. They had a Hall of Famer on the bump, but just simply could not get it done. The Padres were scrappy. They were good, and they won Game 2, and they evened things up heading back to San Diego. But before we get into it too much, hey, just a reminder, if you like this kind of video, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, and share this video so we can keep growing at Dodgers Daily and keep providing you content like this in the future. Okay, let's dive into it. Let's dive into the disappointing game last night. Let's talk about the series all in all and just kind of where everything is at with the Dodgers. Of course, like I said last night, the Dodgers had a lead. Trey Turner got the Dodgers on the board with his second home run of the series. Clayton Kershaw, the Hall of Famer, was on the bump. Last night, he became the all-time strikeout leader in postseason play past Justin Verlander. So the Dodgers had a Hall of Famer on the bump. They had the lead. They were at home. They have 111 wins. They had beaten the Padres in every series this year. They had dominated the series, had the lead, and all of that, and could not hold on to it. The Padres ended up winning Game 2. So, the Dodgers just simply, they haven't been good with runners in scoring position at all. And, they have a tendency, and they have throughout the year, to rely on hitting home runs a little bit too much to score their runs. They've done that in this series. Trey Turner has 2 home runs, and then Freddie Freeman hit one. Max Muncy hit one. So the Dodgers have relied too much on the home run to score runs in this inning, and that's why you've seen the spotty and inconsistent offense, and that's also why you've seen in both games the Dodgers have not scored after the third inning. Obviously, you got to get a lot of credit to the adjustments the starting pitchers have made, especially Yu Darvish last night against this Dodgers offense, and you have to give credit to the bullpen for the Padres, but mainly I think it's the fact that just the Dodgers are relying way too much on the long ball to score, and then they're not getting any production at the bottom of their lineup. Trace Thompson, Cody Bellinger got a hit last night, but it was one of those little defensive things, and he should have scored. He got to third base with less than 2 outs after Mookie Betts got the double, but then Justin Turner couldn't drive him in. But when you look at Cody Bellinger and Trace Thompson, left field and center field, the offense has struggled in those positions, and you really can't afford to have 2 positions on the field that are just strictly defensive positions, and that's kind of what's happened to the outfield for the Dodgers in both left field and right field. Justin Turner has not gotten going yet, but we're going to talk about all that here in a minute. So, like I said, last night, the Dodgers had a chance to really take control of this series. They did not do it. Boy, it was a golden opportunity lost. But, like I said, you got to continue to move on. You got to look to Game 3. Game 3 is going to be very difficult. We'll recap that here in a minute. It's going to be in San Diego, the first playoff game since 2006. It's going to be against Blake Snell. And when the Padres have Blake Snell on the mound, they are very confident, and they believe they're going to win every game that he pitches. And Blake Snell has been very good in the postseason with an ERA right around 3 for the playoffs as a lifetime ERA. So, the odds were stacked again. The Dodgers put themselves in a very difficult position by not winning last night, but it is what it is. So you got to move on and figure out a way to win Game 3. But before we do that, let's kind of recap and talk about how we've gotten to where we're at and talk about the performances of the individual players and kind of cuss and discuss everything that's happened so far with the Dodgers. So with that, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. I think we can all agree that if the Dodgers are going to win this series, Mookie Betts needs to get going, as he is just 1 for 8, and he's been on base just 2 times, and he has not scored a run yet. So, yeah, for your leadoff hitter to not have scored a run, a guy that you signed to a long, long contract, that has to change if the Dodgers are going to go into San Diego and beat the Padres. Betts, like I said, in the leadoff spot, he needs to be one of your best run producers. I know he drives in a lot of runs. He is a wonderful player, but he has to play a dual role. I mean, he's getting paid to play both as a table setter and a run producer. So he needs to set the table. He's only 1 for 8 so far, and he needs to like I said, get on base a little bit more in front of the 5 home runs that the Dodgers have hit so far in the last 2 games. His on-base percentage, Mookie Betts, was .340 in the regular season, and like I said, he is one of the handful of elite players in the league, so he is just a wonderful player. He has been a great player for the Dodgers as well. I don't mean this as any kind of criticism. I'm just simply trying to tell the truth that if the Dodgers want to win, he's going to have to do better than 1 for 8, and he's going to have to both be a table setter and a run producer when he gets a chance, because the Dodgers rely heavily on him to make a huge impact. So hopefully Mookie Betts, and he will, he's a great player. Like I said, he's an elite player. Actually, he's better than great. He'll make his usual presence felt, so that's one reason to feel comfortable if you're a Dodgers fan, is that Mookie Betts is just 1 for 8. He has yet to score a run, but yet the series is still tied. So no reason to worry there. Mookie Betts, you would have to assume, will make his usual presence felt for the 2022 postseason playoffs before it's done. And so hopefully that starts in Game 3 in San Diego Friday night against Blake Snell. Trey Turner has 2 home runs and has been the Dodgers, well, one of, if not the best offensive player. I think if you look at different metrics, it's going to depend on which one you look at as far as which player has been the best offensive player so far in the first 2 games for the Dodgers. But Trey Turner is 3 for 9 with 2 RBIs on the 2 home runs he has, and he has scored 3 runs. His OPS is 1444, so hopefully he can continue to play great offense for the Dodgers. Turner, like Betts, he's a player that the Dodgers have paid a lot, and hopefully the Dodgers re-sign him because he is a wonderful player. He is elite as a shortstop. He's a guy in that situation that is tasked with being, like Betts, both a table setter and a run producer, as he had 100 RBIs on the year. He has 2 so far in this series, but like I said, he needs to do more than just hit home runs. He also needs to set the table for the Dodgers and get on base in front of those home runs that Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman hit. His home run was the only time he got on base last night. That's kind of what I'm talking about, which is great. I mean, we'll take the home run if you're a Dodgers fan, obviously, but if the Dodgers are going to win, again, Trey Turner has to get on base more than 1 time a night, even if that 1 time is a home run, because solo home runs a lot of times do not win games. And so, again, Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, they need to get on base. And Trey Turner has done a pretty good job of it. His on-base percentage in this series is .333, which is good. So it's not like, he's just not getting on base. I don't mean to say that. But what I am saying is the Dodgers rely on him so heavily for a lot of their offense at the top of their lineup that he needs to be able to do both get on base and also drive in runs. And he has done that all year. So expect to see Trey Turner continue to play good offense, and then hopefully the Dodgers, like I said, can get that dual role out of him and win Game 3 and go on and win the series against the Padres. Uncharacteristically, Freddie Freeman went 0 for 3 in the Dodgers Game 1, but then he came back with vengeance last night. He went 2 for 4 with the home run that you're seeing here. Then he also walked. He has also walked twice in the series, so he has absolutely done his part. In fact, his on-base percentage in this series is .444 if you pair that with his .286 average so far in the 2 games, and his OPS of 1301. Him and Trey Turner have been the 2 best offensive players. It just depends on which metric you want to look at. So hopefully Betts and Turner can get on base in front of him, and he can continue to play his great offense that he has done all year, and he has done so far, or at least he did last night in Game 2. The Dodgers are absolutely going to need it. Freddie Freeman is an elite offensive player. They need him to continue to get hits, continue to hit for power, and then also continue to get on base, something he's done all year and something he did very well last night and has done in this series. One of the things that's going to have to happen if the Dodgers are going to win this series is that Justin Turner, who is just 1 for 6 so far, and he had a chance last night with runners at second, third, if you remember, after Cody Bellinger got a hit, and then Mookie Betts hit the double that was misplayed. Justin Turner had a chance to drive in 2 runs. He also had a chance to drive in a run without a hit. He ended up striking out. So one of the things that's going to happen if the Dodgers, you would think, are going to win this series is Justin Turner is going to have to get his offense going. And, like I said, he's just 1 for 6 so far, but he has been an elite offensive player for much of his career. He was elite in the second half of 2022 of this season. And so for the Dodgers, not just to win this series, but if the Dodgers are going to win 10 more games, which the goal, obviously, when you win 111 games is to win the World Series. If the Dodgers are going to do that, win 10 more games, which starts with beating the Padres, this guy right here, Justin Turner, simply has to get it going. He's just 1 for 6 so far, and again, I do not mean that as a criticism. I've been in the coaching industry for a long time. I know exactly. I played the game. I know exactly how hard this game is, so trust me. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just simply stating facts that, hey, if you want to reach this goal and you want to win this series, first starting with beating the Padres, this guy, Justin Turner, has to get it going and has to get his offense, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. So like I said, I hope that doesn't sound negative. I hope that does not sound too harsh. It's just simply the cold hard facts and the truth that the Dodgers need Justin Turner to do like he's always done in the past. He's a lifetime 273 postseason hitter, so he has been a good postseason hitter. We've seen the dramatics that he's created, the walk-off home runs and all that, so we know he's absolutely more than capable. He's been an elite offensive player for quite a while. He was elite, like I said, second half of 2022. So, he's a great offensive player. He is still, capable of doing that, obviously. But he hit, just remember, 118 in last year's playoffs as well. So, like I said, I don't mean that as a criticism. I just mean that as a cold, hard truth that, here are the facts. He hit just 118 last year in the playoffs. He's hitting just 167 so far this year. And so, if you remember, the Dodgers did not make the World Series a year ago. And, Justin Turner, like I said, was 118 in those playoffs. So, like I said, you don't want a repeat of that. So, the 167 so far this year needs to change. Justin Turner, obviously more than capable of doing that. I think he'd be the first one to tell you exactly what I'm saying here. So, hopefully he finds his groove again. He finds it for the rest of the year. The Dodgers go ahead and beat the Padres and win those 10 games to win the World Series here in 2022. Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? Max Muncy has a lifetime postseason OPS of 905, and he's hitting 429 so far in the two games against the Padres in this series, including the home run he hit last night that you're seeing here. He had a hit and drew a walk in game one, then he had this home run and also had another hit. He had two hits last night with an RBI and a run scored. Muncy, like Will Smith, is easily outperforming his regular season production, but he also has a track record of being productive in the postseason, so hopefully he can keep that up. And as we've been talking about, beat the Padres, which starts by beating them in San Diego Friday and then winning 10 more games to that World Series title. So Max Muncy, he has produced very well so far in the postseason for the Dodgers. Will Smith had two hits in game one, and then he went 1 for 5 last night. He's hitting .333 for the series so far in the two games. He has an RBI and an OPS of .889 against the Padres in this 2022 National League Divisional Series. He also has hit 2 doubles. So he is like we said with Max Muncy, he is outperforming his level of production from the regular season, and he had a good regular season. So hopefully he can continue to do that. Then hopefully Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, and Justin Turner, guys like that can get it going and get on base in front of him, especially Mookie Betts and Trey Turner. Then him and Freddie Freeman can continue to drive in runs. Justin Turner can add to that party, and the Dodgers offense can gain that consistency that they simply have not had through the first 2 games of this series. They've been explosive, especially early in the games. Like we mentioned, they've scored very well early in games the first 3 innings, but then have not scored after the 3rd inning in each game. So hopefully that can change with guys getting on base and guys like Will Smith continuing to outproduce over the regular season production and driving in runs. Gavin Lux went 2 for 4 last night, and he's hitting .375 for the 2-game series so far, and he had the big RBI in game 1 that you're seeing here on your screen, but he has yet to score a run. He's another one of those fast guys for the Dodgers. Talking about Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Gavin Lux, they need to score more runs. Of course, Trey Turner scored a couple of runs on his home runs, but as far as Mookie Betts and Gavin Lux, some of the speedy guys for the Dodgers, they need to start scoring runs. So Gavin Lux has yet to score a run despite having 4 total bases in this series, and that's because the bottom half of the lineup, the bottom third especially, has simply not produced. Like we've talked about, Cody Bellinger got a hit last night, but the bottom lineup has to create some consistency, and they need to score some runs, generate some runs, like the Padres have done with the bottom of the lineup. So he needs to be that throwback, get him on, get him over, get him in type of player at the bottom of the lineup to generate those runs. So he has not been that guy as far as getting driven in. He has done a good job hitting those. So Gavin Lux, you're seeing his RBI here. He is a great player. I've seen him a lot of times. I love his offensive game. But because, like I said, the get him on, get him over, get him in aspect has not been there with him as far as the Dodgers getting him in and scoring runs with him. The Dodgers have been very heavily reliant on the home run, which is really not a good recipe for winning in the postseason, because as it gets colder, it gets harder to do that, and the matchups get a little bit tougher to hit home runs with. So the Dodgers, like I said, have to find consistency. They need to be able to score more than just in the first 3 innings, and one of the best ways they could do that is to get Gavin Lux going and get him on base, get him over, and then allow guys like Cody Bellinger, Trace Thompson, or whoever it may be, drive him in without necessarily even needing a base hit. So Gavin Lux, I think, is a big part of this offense, because I think he can provide a spark further down in your lineup, and he can be that guy that can give you the ability to score even when your top hitters aren't up, or you're at the middle of your order, or whatever it may be. So Gavin Lux, I think he's going to play a big part in the rest of this series and the rest of the 2022 postseason. The Dodgers need a little bit more of what you're getting ready to see right here from Trace Thompson. There's a home run. He has yet to get going in the 2022 postseason. He is 0 for 6, and he has 3 strikeouts, but he's drawn 2 walks, so he has gotten on base twice. And he plays great defense. We know that. So he always does add a positive element. But like we talked about, if Cody Bellinger is going to continue to struggle with his offense, you really can't afford to put 2 guys in your outfield, both in left field and in right field, that are strictly defensive guys. So if Trace Thompson cannot get his offense going, then it's going to be very difficult for the Dodgers. And I think they're going to need to insert somebody into left field that is more than just defense, which is what Trace Thompson has been to this point. Now, he's been a good offensive player during the year. I mean, so I don't mean that, like I said, as a criticism, but like I said, it's just the truth that the Dodgers need offense, from whoever is playing in left field, and Trace Thompson is 0 for 6 so far with 3 strikeouts. He's very capable, so I'm not saying the Dodgers are going to take him out of the lineup or anything like that, but I am saying that whoever is in left field, they need somebody there that is going to be more than just defense, and Trace Thompson's capable of that. But so far, like I said, it's been a struggle for him, and so hopefully he can get it going and continue to play well like he did for the regular season here in 2022 as the Dodgers try to defeat the Padres. Cody Bellinger has just 1 hit and has just simply put not looked comfortable at the plate at all. But honestly, he has shortened his swing up. He is more upright. He is trying to do everything he can to hit the ball, and he is battling. So although he has struck out some, and although he has just the 1 hit, he has absolutely battled at the plate. So I will not be critical of him at all, because he is giving it everything he has. And being in the coaching industry for 30 years, like I said, I know just exactly how difficult this game is, and I know nobody wants to have success more than Cody Bellinger. And like we said, he brings that elite defense to the center field position. That's kind of what we talked about with Trace Thompson. You already have that guy that brings great defense. Can you afford to have 2 guys in your lineup, in your outfield, that aren't hitting? Can you have 2 defensive-only guys in your lineup, which Bellinger, at times has been this year for the Dodgers? So can you, if Trace Thompson doesn't start hitting, can you have both of those guys in the lineup at the same time? That's going to be a big decision for Dave Roberts, one that I think all of the front office for the Dodgers will have to sit down and mull over and figure out how they're going to handle that situation. So hopefully Cody Bellinger, we've seen it in the past, he can run into a couple of baseballs in some big moments and make an impact offensively in that way. But if not, he still plays a great center field. He stays in the lineup. He's elite defensively. At that point, you have to figure out left field and figure out what you're going to do there if you're not getting offense from that position. And so, like I said, Cody Bellinger, he's battling at the plate. Nobody wants to have success more than him. He has shortened his swing up. He's trying to do everything he can. He did get a hit last night, but like we said, you're getting ready to see here, we've seen a couple times already, he does play that elite defense, and we're talking about Cody Bellinger. That's a great play right there. Julio Urias was great through 4 innings in Game 1. Then he ran into some trouble in the 5th as Will Myers hit a home run. Then the Padres strung a couple hits together. Then they did a good job of situational hitting. They scored 3 runs on him, chased him after 5, and then the Dodgers bullpen went to work and won Game 1. Urias has a postseason ERA of 3.68 for his career. His WHIP is just 0.97. He has absolutely taken the ball and become the bell cow for this Dodgers pitching staff. He is the number 1 pitcher, which is why he got the ball in Game 1. And so Julio Urias, the thing about him is, with the Game 1 setup, if you make it to Game 5, if you just don't lose the next 2 games in San Diego, you got to love the fact that he will be the starter for the Dodgers. It will be against somebody that is not Blake Snell or Yu Darvish, probably Joe Musgrove, which is a tough matchup, but one that the Dodgers probably would be favored in, more than likely would be favored in, and it would be at home. So you just need to win one of the next 2. You got to like the fact that you have your number 1 starter, Julio Urias, ready to go for Game 5 if you need him. And so that's a good situation for the Dodgers. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be real with this. It was very disappointing if the Dodgers had a lead. They were at home. They had a chance to take a stranglehold on the series, and I think Clayton Kershaw would be the first one to tell you. It was very disappointing that they were not able to bury the Padres last night and take a 2-0 lead in this series with Clayton Kershaw on the bump. He has been a wonderful pitcher. Last night he took the all-time lead in the major leagues for postseason strikeouts, so he has been a good pitcher. He has an ERA of 4.22 lifetime in the playoffs, a whip of just 1.08, and like I said, he's the all-time strikeouts leader, and his strikeout to walks ratio in the playoffs has been 4-1, and so he has been good in the postseason. So it was just very disappointing, and that's one of the things you're going to have to overcome if you're the Dodgers, is the disappointment of knowing that you're in a situation to where everything was going your way. You were against a team that's used to losing to you. You had the lead. You were at home. You'd already beaten them in Game 1, and you had a Hall of Famer on the bump who has more strikeouts than any other human being that's ever walked the earth in the major leagues as far as strikeouts go. So that was disappointing. That's one of the things the Dodgers are going to have to overcome, is that disappointment, regroup, and that way I think it's good that they get the day off. They travel down to San Diego, get this out of their mind a little bit before they get ready to go Friday night in San Diego. So there you have it. Clayton Kershaw didn't have his best stuff last night. The Dodgers really had a chance to bury the Padres. They did not, so now you move on. You have to look to Game 3. Thanks for tuning in to Dodgers Daily today as we talked about all about the divisional series here with the San Diego Padres. And I hope that you tune in to Dodgers Daily tomorrow. What we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to break down the matchup Blake Snell versus Tony Gonsolin. We're going to dive into all the numbers and everything that needs to take place between those two and all the matchups for Game 3 of the National League Divisional Series, a game Friday night in San Diego. So make sure and tune in to Dodgers Daily tomorrow. Also, I hope that you visit DodgersDaily.net. That's DodgersDaily.net. And I hope that you visit Dodgers Daily on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. And I also hope you become a subscriber to the Dodgers Daily Podcast on whichever podcast streaming service that you use. Again, the Dodgers Daily Podcast. Hey, also just a reminder, if you like this video, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, and share this video so Dodgers Daily can keep growing and we can keep providing you content like this in the future. As always, hey, thanks for tuning in. And hey, let's go Dodgers, a big one, as the next game is against San Diego, and it is Game 3, a huge game in Game 3 of the 2022 National League Divisional Series. Go Dodgers!